good day for everyone who is watching right now. So, today we're gonna tackle about the cell theory. First, the cell theory was postulated by Schleiden, Schwann, and Virchow. And the cell theory is composed of three tenets. First is the cells are the smallest and the most basic unit of the structure and functions of organisms. So it means that number two, all organisms are composed of cells. And number three, cells arise from pre-existing cells. That is a very self-explanatory thing. So we have two types of cells. The first is prokaryotic, the second is eukaryotic. And inside the prokaryotic, there are two major types of prokaryotic cells, which are the archaea and the bacteria. And in the eukaryotic, we have eukarya or the Homo sapiens or the H sapiens. We have identifications and classification of cells. The first record of seeing a cell and identifying it was belong to Robert Hooke. Then all cells are uh, shares a common structural features. First is the cell or the plasma membrane. The cells or the plasma membrane are the outer boundary of the cells, which separates the contents from the environment. And the plasma and cell membranes are varies based on its composition. The second is the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is a gel-like substance that constitutes the cell internal environment and holds all the structures components of the cell. So the cytoplasm is the liquid part of the cell. Then next is the genetic material. The genetic material, deoxyribose nucleic acid or the DNA is the genetic material which holds the information for cells activities and its functions. So we often use DNA to know if the two organisms are related to each other. Then fourth is ribosome. Uh, it is the structure that manufactures proteins which are needed for a cell function. And also, ribosomes have two main functions, decoding the message and the information of peptide bonds. These two activities resides in two large ribonucleoprotein particles or the RNP of unequal size. Uh, and also, we should not forget also that cells can differ in number, size, components, and composition. And just like I told earlier, that based on structural differences, cells can be classified as prokaryotic and eukaryotic. So, let's talk about prokaryotic cells.
Prokaryotic cells are cells that are the earliest and most primitive. It contains only simple structures with very little differentiation. Its size varies from zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.5 micrometers. It consists of organisms from the archaea and bacteria domain.
Prokaryotic cell membranes has a plasma membrane that acts as a protective cover and a cell wall for added support and protection. Prokaryotic cells also have ribosomes that gives proteins and a nucleoid that has the DNA. They also have the flagellum, which helps them for moving, which helps the cells for moving, and a mesosome, which are folds of plasma membrane where the electron transport system is located.
The nucleoid is the region of the cell where the DNA is present. Meanwhile, the plasmid are small independent loops of DNA which are separate from the chromosomal DNA found in the nucleoid. Prokaryotic cells are small because it has less DNA to create the proteins needed to make an ultra-efficient membrane. So, the cells can reach a size where they can no longer import the number of nutrients they need for the volume of cytosol they contain. This is known as surface area to volume ratio limit. However, bacteria are much larger than viruses because they are actively carrying out the biochemical reactions of life within their cells. We will now talk about eukaryotic cells.
A eukaryote or eukaryotic cell is an organism that possesses a clearly defined nucleus. It also contains membrane-bound organelles such as what I've said, a nucleus, mitochondria, and an endoplasmic reticulum.
The eukaryotic cells are found in plants, animals, fungi, and protists. They generally have a nucleus, an organelle surrounded by a membrane called the nuclear envelope, where DNA is stored. The difference between the two types of cell is that prokaryotic cells have no membrane-bound organelles. This means that the processes that usually happen in organelles take place in the cytoplasm. The DNA in prokaryotes is circular, whereas DNA in eukaryote is linear and arranged in chromosomes.
Examples of eukaryotic cells are plant cells, animal cells, protocells, and fungi cells. Their genetic material is organized in chromosomes. Why eukaryotic cells are important? It plays a critical role in the recycling of nutrients by decomposing dead organisms and allowing nutrients to be reused. The ability to maintain different environments inside a single cell allows eukaryotic cells to carry out complex metabolic reactions that prokaryotes cannot. Also, eukaryotic is important for many metabolic processes.